All right, a sequel and a nominee for Best Foreign Film start on area screens this week. Here to tell us about How to Train Your Dragon 3 and Cold War are film critics Chuck Koplinski and Pam Powell. And of course, we were obviously having a little bit of a tiff prior to this. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, we're talking about Cold War. Pam, what do we think? Is this a hot one?
Well, it's a hot one as far as the Oscars go. It is nominated for Best Foreign Film. The director, Powell-Powlowski.
Are you related, Pam?
Koplinski? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like both your names combined. Yeah. It's kind of a weird thing.
There it is right there. Shot in beautiful black and white. It takes place right after World War II and spans about 15 years. And there we see the main character. Her name is Zula. And she's played by an actress, Joanna Kulig, and she is probably the best part of this film. She falls in love with a guy named Victor, played by Thomas Kott, and their relationship is tumultuous, to say the least. As I say, this covers about 15 years, and their relationship is very fragmented. You see him there defecting into France from a communist bloc, and that, of course, sets up a lot of complications because they meet each other, they go apart, they meet each other, they break apart. Circumstances are against them as far as keeping something consistent as far as their love affair is concerned. They both kind of know, though, that this isn't going to work. They both kind of know that they bring out the worst in each other, but there's this attraction that they cannot fight. The problem with this movie is that as their relationship is fragmented, so is the film. We'll look at one section, and then it'll just go to black, and then it'll say 2 years later, or the year will say, and then we've got 5-10 minutes, then it goes to black, and 5 years later. There just isn't a sense of momentum here in this movie. And because of that, I didn't have a connection with these characters. I didn't have an emotional involvement in these characters and whether they'd be together, and that is necessary for any romantic film. I gotta want them to be together. And by the end of Cold War, I was feeling pretty cold towards this whole thing.
Wow, Chuck.
Beautiful film, though.
Beautiful.
Visually, it's dynamite.
Yeah, and technically, I think it's absolutely exquisite. I mean, it's just gorgeously shot, and there's something about black and white that really, I think, lends more depth to a film, and it's very sensual, especially for a romantic film like this. But like Chuck said, it's definitely fragmented, and when things are disconnected, you're disconnected from the characters, and I had no connection with them, and really was a little bored. However, it is worth seeing, I think, just because it is in the Oscar-nominated category of Best Foreign Film. And it's up against Roma. I think those are the two biggies. I think Capernaum should win that category. But that's my thought.
Cold War up at the Art Theater.
At the Art Theater, that is just downtown, you guys. If you want to head over there, it can be a fun experience, too.
It's always great together.
Yeah, a different type of film, you know, kind of get something new in your belt there. Yeah. Well, this isn't something new, something we've seen before twice now, but the third one is out, How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. So do we like this film? What do you think?
Well, third time should be a charm because number one and number two were charmed. Apparently, I unfortunately did not see the first two that had Academy Award nominations and wins. And now we pick up with Toothless the Dragon, who is with Hiccup. And Hiccup is the leader of Berk. For those of you who don't know that, I didn't. I had to look it up on Wikipedia before I went to see this film. This is a beautiful film. Animation is absolutely wonderful, and a lot of life lessons within this movie, too. We have Hiccup, who leads his people, and they live harmoniously with the dragons. And, of course, there's a bad guy, Grimmel, who is out to kill all the dragons because he says they're all bad. There's also a couple of little love stories here. Here we see a mating dance between Night Fury, who is toothless, and his new love interest. And we also have another love interest with the people, or the young kids. Sweet story, saccharine sweet story. A little too sweet for me. It didn't have as much depth to it as I had hoped it would based on the accolades of the first two films. Nice message, great message at the end. I think that sometimes the animation overtook the power of the story, though, and they focused too much on that and forgot to tell the story. I think that kids are going to love this movie. Nice message, like I said before. It's a great kids movie. I just don't think adults are going to appreciate it as much as perhaps the first and second one, but Chuck can probably talk to that because he did see all three.
Yes, and I liked this movie, but it is definitely a step down from the first two. It drags. The love story between Toothless and the Light Fury there, It really just drags things almost to a halt at times. But the conclusion of the film, it's not just a conclusion of the film, but the conclusion to the entire 3 movies is just so emotionally satisfying. Once you see the sacrifices that have to be made, as well as, well, I'm not going to say anything about the final scene, but it really does get you emotionally if you've been invested into this thing. It's the lesser of all 3, but still good enough.
Okay, so on a scale, a dragon scale of 1 to 10, what are we talking about here?
I'd give it a 7.
A 7. Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. All right, well, cool. Thanks, Chuck and Pam. Anything else you want to talk about at all? Like your Facebook page?
Yeah, take a look at our Facebook page.
Website.
We've got a contest going on there for Oscar. So make sure you fill out your predictions. Chuck and I are also having a contest between the 2 of us.
Really?
We are going to predict the winners of all 24 categories.
Oh.
And whoever wins has to make the other one do some task on air. And I know what I want him to do it. I don't know what he's got planned for me.
Oh
but
my
it doesn't
God.
really matter because I'm gonna win.
This is literally the best thing I've ever heard. Okay, well, you're gonna do it on Friday Flicks then, right? I mean,
Sure.
Okay, perfect. I really hope Chuck loses secretly.
I know you do.
Only because I really want to see this happen. I don't know what it is, but really cool. Go give them a like on Facebook. You guys on their website. It's really awesome. Have a lot of movie reviews on there. So go ahead. Look at that picture. Beautiful. Thanks, Chuck and Pam, for being here. Happy Friday.
Thanks. Happy
Thank
Friday
you.
to
Of course, you guys will be right back after this.